Kidnap your nearest child, all my fellow future outlaws, as this is Card Games vs. Humanity, and I am that NAKAK double G. New episodes begin today, so if you're new to the channel, I hope you enjoy your stay. We recap Duel Monsters here and make fun of it mercilessly, so without any further ado, let's get back to it, shall we? Beginning today's episode with no recap because Mako simply wasn't important enough, we see the small child trying to escape the top dwelling lair of this castle. Well, he's dead. Pegasus is seen laughing maniacally to himself, enjoying this knockoff Bugs Bunny cartoon before his lackey comes in to tell him about the escaping prisoner.
Gorgonzola cheese and the world's finest fruit juice.
Remember kids, crushing people's minds with magical powers is a-okay, but don't you dare mention that a 54-year-old man drinks wine. Pegasus learns that Mokuba has escaped and definitely did die in that fall, but doesn't really seem to care. Casually yelling at this computer screen to lower itself and explain the tournament to him because apparently it can just do that. He seems quite happy with Yugi's progress of already gaining 5 star chips, so it definitely makes sense that later on in the series he sends a hitman after him to try to take them all away. But that's okay, we head back to our heroic gang who seems to be under some distress hearing a small child who got kidnapped by this large man with crazy hair. Tristan then forgets that this is Yu-Gi-Oh! And not Dragon Ball Z.
Let that kid go!
He was seriously flying at him for like 3 to 4 seconds straight. Tristan does a sweet over-the-shoulder toss onto Kimo, but what he didn't expect was that Kimo's pointy hair gives him incredible balance and acrobatic prowess that allow him to flip in midair and dive back down on Tristan like he's fucking Akuma or something. Kimo doesn't seem to give a shit at all that this kid's star chips and deck were stolen, even though that's a completely legitimate story on an island that had no adult supervision.
Buzzer! They may be shipping me out.
Is anyone gonna explain to me why there's a great value version of Yugi sitting behind Weevil inside the boat? No? The gang confronts him at the boat to try to stop Kimo, who claims that anyone on the island who doesn't have star chips is going to be injected in 30 minutes, even though Taya and Tristan are standing right there. Joey Wheeler, he might need to be put on a list.
And I always get my man, even if he's just a kid.
We only have 30 minutes to help this kid, so let's head to the scene of the crime so naturally we can sit down and take a break instead. And like any good supervisor at any store ever, the masked duelist, appears immediately after they try to sit down for their break. Joey and Tristan are ready to beat the shit out of him, but Yugi wants to duel, so his main character status gets the final say.
You know, sometimes I don't think even Yugi knows why he does half the stuff he does.
You know, Tristan, as much as I want to make fun of that, after watching his early duels, yeah, you're probably right. Both of them wager 5 star chips on this duel before the masked duelist goes into a flashback about his brother, definitely not Seto Kaiba.
You always say cards are power, and you've got all the strongest cards.
You know, funnily enough, that same concept holds true in real life. We just call them credit cards. Defeated and hungry after his duel with Yugi, Seto Kaiba leaves his brother with no explanation to take care of a billion-dollar company. It obviously makes no sense to why he's acting out in any way. Mokuba begins the duel with a man-eating plant, but what he didn't expect is Yugi to start the duel by summoning a dragon, skipping his turn right away and destroying the Bellsprout knockoff quite quickly. What a shame, if only he had a dragon-eating plant instead. Oh, damn it. My bad, guys. That joke was so shitty that YouTube's forcing me to buffer. Mokuba loses life points with no attack explanation before Yugi says something I just simply cannot agree with.
You can't win a duel with cards that don't rightfully belong to you.
Yeah, Yugi, between like 2007 and 2011, I won at least 100 duels with cards that were my friends, so I don't know what to tell you, bro. Apparently, just telling Yugi that he doesn't believe in the heart of the cards, only power, is all it took for him to know it was Mokuba all along. Even though Joey should have recognized this voice from the duel that Yugi and Kaiba had in episode 1. Mokuba reveals this long, gorgeous, flowing hair to everyone, claiming that his brother Seto Kaiba is just a shell of his former self, and that he's very worried because leaving Kaiba Corp left it vulnerable to Pegasus's actions. We're then treated to a flashback of Pegasus sitting in a not at all dark and ominous room with 5 shadowy figures as a small child looks through the small bit of light through the crack in the door.
The elder Kaiba shall meet with an accident.
Oh yes, let's speak out loud our plans to kill someone on a kid's show. Don't worry, it's just an accident. After about 10 fucking minutes, it's finally turned 2 and Mokuba summons a shitty crocodile monster that dies instantly.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean?
I wasn't talking to you.
Sorry, what do you mean, Taya?
I know that it took them like 2 full minutes to understand what Mokuba's doing after he literally just explained it to him. But what was the point of that scene? Somehow Mokuba uses instantaneous movement to appear on the other side of the dueling arena, swiping Yugi's star chips and attempting to run away. Somehow Yugi can sense people's souls, but he couldn't hear the loud metal clanks of a kid trying to climb up the stage.
After I defeated Kaiba in our duel, I opened his mind.
AKA I used magical powers that just barely managed to not kill him. Yugi then goes full daddy mode, scolding Mokuba, saying that his brother would not approve of his actions, even though that's definitely not true. And considering that they only have about 3 minutes before the boat leaves, it's sure a good thing that they decided to sit down down and take a break earlier. After 7 long episodes, Kaiba's finally back on the show, but he seems to be brooding over his loss against the duel with Yugi.
I've run computer simulations, probability scenarios, and quantum analysis of our duel.
Dude, your duel was like 7 turns long and there wasn't a single trap card. There ain't no fucking Heisenberg uncertainty principle there. 2 grunts show up at this house that Kaiba was apparently staying at, threatening him with the most powerful weapon known to man, the invisible gun. And while I'd love to spend about 10 minutes making fun of this scene with lame-ass jokes, the most surprising thing is that when Kaiba jumped out the window, he chose to grab his duel disc and not his deck. He would never let that happen outside of season 1. We head back to our heroes and the boat's already gone. Good job, guys. Desperate to bargain with the pointy-haired hunk of a man, the gang offers their star chips back that Mokuba had stolen. But instead of showing any actual compassion, Kimo says the same thing to them that my mom used to say to me as a child.
Let's go, you. Back to the cage.
Instead of just using the 4-on-1 advantage to just beat the shit out of him, Daddy Yugi challenges him to a duel instead. A duel that we instantly pan over to with no build-up, where it's revealed that Yugi won't be dueling Kimo directly. Instead, he'll be dueling an empty shell of a man who was lost within the realms of purgatory, who traveled the ethereal plane just to duel him. So basically, it's just Kaiba. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Card Games vs. Humanity. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like, hit that sub, and leave a comment telling me you wish you could get your hair as pointy as Kimo's. I do too, honestly. Tune in next week where we get to see what might be the actual epitome of cheating in Duel Monsters. Seriously, you ain't ready. And of course, a shout out to all my patrons. If you too would like to be featured at the end of every episode, if you want to support the channel and, just help me make more full-time episodes and openings, then I definitely appreciate it. I'll do my best to keep the laughs rolling in. This has been the man from Earth with all the Earth, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sorry, but this time, you don't stand a ghost of a chance. Kidnap your nearest child, all my fellow future outlaws, as I am that N-A-K-K-double-G, and I messed that up. Bokuba. Jesus Christ. Bokuba. Mokuba. We're then treated to his flashback. Somehow Mokuba uses instantaneous... Holy fuck. Leave me a comment telling me how much you wish you could get your pointy... hair pointy...